see. Okay, so now we are at the fifth chapter. The fifth chapter is titled Karma Sannyasa Yoga. As usual, we'd like to acknowledge Swami Paramarthananda Saraswati for the traditional rendering of Vedanta, as was done for 1,000 years, starting with Adi Shankaracharya, and whose discourses we've been following in this Bhagavad Gita study series. We'll say a small prayer. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Salutations to the lineage starting with Lord Sadashiva, with Adi Shankara in the middle, and continuing up to our immediate teacher, Swami Paramarthananda Saraswati. Okay. So always, before we start a new chapter, I would like to emphasize how the Bhagavad Gita is structured. It's structured into shatkams, 6 chapters each. So we have 3 shatkams, totally 18 chapters, 3 portions of 6 chapters each. The first 6 chapters are called Prathama Shatkam, the first 6 chapters. The contents are the most important thing, whose nature is discussed, right? So that is the Jiva Swarupam. And now, or the knowledge of the nature of the Jiva. Then what is the sadhana or the means to attain this knowledge? And there, Bhagavan Krishna talks about Karma Yoga. A full chapter was dedicated to this as the means to prepare the mind for this knowledge. And how do you get this? What is needed? Do you just sit and everything will happen? No, it talks about the importance of prayatna. So we talked about this free will and fate, right? So there's some which are, there's your karma. You can't go too much against this, but we have a ability to change things to quite a good extent. So Krishna emphasizes the importance of prayatna. For those that you cannot control, there is surrender to Ishvara. That is there. So that is talked about in the Ishvara Anugraha, is talked about in the second 6 chapters. So this is how it is. Prathama Shatkam, Madhyama Shatkam, Charama Shatkam, the end, the last 6. Jiva Swarupam, nature of the Jiva. The middle 6 contain nature of God, or Ishvara Swarupam. Then Jivatma Paramatma Swarupa Aikyam is covered in the last 6 chapters. Oneness of Jivatma and Paramatma. So these words, Jivatma, Paramatma, and Jiva, all those things, they're precise technical terms for that. But sometimes when people use it, it's used in the wrong context. So Atma has many different meanings. It can mean the self, it can mean this Purusha, this consciousness. In that context, Jiva Atma is this consciousness in the context of the body. Parama Atma is the consciousness in the context of the universe. And they're both the same. It is just one continuous consciousness. It's like talking about the space within a home and the space outside, everywhere, right? Space is space. It's one continuous thing. But within the home, it occupies a certain thing. So there it's called, you talk about inner space and outer space. And even outside the earth, you have outer space, right? So it is one consciousness. Then sadhana is karma yoga. This is the sadhana. In the second portion, the Madhyama Shatkam, it is Ishvara Dhyanam, meditation on Ishvara. The final Shatkam, the means sadhana is Jnana Yoga, study of the scriptures. Then how do you get this? So this is the sadhana. What's the method? the method is prayatna, individual effort. In the second, by Ishvara Dhyanam, you get Ishvara Anugraha. So when your mind is ready through individual effort, it is said that Bhagavan himself will send a teacher. Scriptures, everything will become available. Ishvara Anugraha. Then in the final Charama Shatkam, it is about Satguna, or values to purify the mind. So this is the specific. Jnana Yoga is the general sadhana. The specific means, how do you, like, yes, ABC steps, that is Satguna, or values, is talked about. So Tvam, you, is the first six. Tat, that, is the middle six. Asi, or both are the same. So it's like an equation. So Swamiji beautifully describes this. When you bring an equation, so x plus 5 is equal to 9, you write like that, right? You don't write an equation to say 5 is equal to 5. It's obvious. You don't compare two exactly same things and say they're equal. Yeah, it's obvious. You don't need an equation. And you don't compare, you don't say 10 is equal to 1, because they're completely dissimilar. But two things which could, or you can, for example, 7 plus 3 is equal to 9 plus 1. They don't look exactly same, but they are the same. So two things which are seemingly similar, but you're not quite sure. So that is when you bring in the equation. So the Jivatma and the Paramatma, they look vastly different, like the inner space and outer space, but it's just space. So that's when you bring in the equation to show the Asi Padartham. So it's called Maha Vakyam, not Vakyam equation, Maha, great equation, which equates the Jivatma and the Paramatma. Okay, so now that's the um, Tat Tvam Asi. This is in Chandogya Upanishad, the great, so Maha Vakyam. So distribution of topics in the first 6 chapters, Prathama Shatkam. Second chapter introduces both Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga, and it talks in great detail, 12 to 25, on the nature of the Atma. Third chapter focuses on Karma Yoga. Fourth chapter focuses, we just finished this, Jnana Karma Sannyasa. It focuses solely on Jnana Yoga. And the fifth is a summary of 2, 3, 4 with emphasis on Jnana Yoga. Okay, so those of you who are yoga teachers, you'll find a lot of beautiful shlokas about the jiva. You can use that in your yoga classes. It talks about Navadvare Pure Dehi. There is this 9-gated city. All the orifices, there are 9 orifices. So 9-gated, 9 gates. In the 9-gated city, the jiva, this thing, lives very Navadvare Pure Puram. It's a place. Dehi, this Dehi, Navadvare Pure Dehi, Naiva Kinchit Nakarayan, doesn't do anything, but it just happily resides. So it's there's a lot of beautiful shlokas in this 5th chapter. It's a short chapter. It provides a summary of 2nd, 3rd, and 4th chapters. This is the gist. I'll tell you the gist before we go into the shlokas. Gist is, we already saw that 2 compulsory sadhanas. It's like elementary school and high school, right? You have no choice. You have to graduate. You have to go through elementary, high school, or middle school in between, and then graduate. Like that, no choice with respect to Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. For some people, because of their previous janma, they can do very little Karma Yoga and go to Jnana Yoga. But for most of us, there's quite a bit of Karma Yoga involved. But Krishna talks about 2 lifestyles, Grihastha, householder, and Sannyasa. The 4th chapter is mainly for the Grihastha. That is, you can attain liberation in either path. And this was Arjuna's confusion. He's going to be confused. He's going to ask the same question. Again, the 18th chapter is going to ask the same question. So Krishna patiently explains. There is choice with respect to Grihastha or Sannyasa. Some people are action-oriented. For them, grihastha is better. Some people are just, they want to just sit in a corner, meditate. Their minds are more suitable. For them, sannyasa. The main message of this chapter is Jnana Yoga, even though Karma Yoga is summarized, but the main message is Jnana Yoga. So, delineation. It's divided into 4 portions. We saw that, right? The shlokas, so there are 28 shlokas here. You can divide it into 4 portions, with each having a different topic. So, first is Nishtha Dvayam, the first portion, the first 6 shlokas. Nishtha means lifestyle. So, sannyasa versus grihastha, renunciant and householder lifestyles. Second is sadhana dvayam, which are 2 types of spiritual practices, karma yoga and jnana yoga. Then jnana, sadhana, and phalam, preparation of the for the mind and fruits of knowledge, preparation for knowledge and fruits of knowledge. And then he introduces meditation. This next chapter, 6th chapter, is entirely on yoga. It talks about yoga and yogis. It is the quintessential primer on meditation and yoga. Okay, with that, we will jump into the 5th chapter. Arjuna Upacha Sanyasam Karmanam Krishna Punaryogam Cha Samshasi Yachreya Etayor Ekam Tanme Bruhi Sunishchitam. Oh Krishna, you are praising renunciation of actions. You are also praising karma yoga. Now tell me definitively which of the 2 is better. So the previous chapter was titled Karma Sannyasa Yoga, renunciation of actions, not by not doing, but internally. So all of you understood, but Arjuna didn't seem to understand this point. So he's asking the same question. Look at how much patience Bhagavan has here. He is confusing internal renunciation of actions with external renunciation of actions. So he's saying you're praising renunciation of actions and you're also telling you have to do karma. What is better? He's asking. Krishna repeats, Arjuna asks this question again in 3.1. He asked this question. So he says in 3.1, Arjuna uvacha jayasi chet karmanaste matha buddhir janatana tatkim karmani ghore mam yojayasi keshava. Why do you ask me to do this gory deed of killing everybody when you're saying knowledge is better than action? And he still doesn't understand this subtlety. So he keeps asking this again and again. And in the 18th chapter, um, he's talking about tyaga and sannyasa. Again, he will ask this question. Krishna repeats it. And Arjuna forgets everything. After the war, before the war, everything was taught. Immediately after the war, everything forgotten. He again asks, and Krishna just says, "What a headache." And Krishna tells him the Anugita out of compassion. So Anugita, it's not his own words. He describes how a Brahmin who's visited the heavens and has come back to earth. So this Brahmin gets like a free ride to the heavens, apparently. He goes and tours all the heavens and comes back to earth and describes all that. So Krishna gives the Gita through the words of that Brahmin. So that's Anugita, after the war. So then Shri Bhagavanuvacha Sannyasa Karma Yogascha Nishreyasakaravubhau Tayostu Karma Sannyasat Karma Yogo Vishishyate. So previously also Bhagavan was saying for you both previously was saying both lead to the same goal, but for you, this one is better. He was saying that. And now, see, look at this. He very clearly says both renunciations and karma yoga lead to the highest goal, but of these two, karma yoga is superior to renunciation of actions. So don't become a sannyasi. So see, this is not a true statement because sannyasa can also lead. Look how confusing it is. He says both renunciation of actions and karma yoga lead to the highest goal, but so A is equal to B, but A is better. This is how Krishna says it. It looks seemingly confusing, but Krishna is trying to make a point. For you, karma yoga is superior to renunciation of actions. We've mentioned this before. Throughout the Bhagavad Gita, you will find these kind of seemingly conflicting things. And that is the logic used is called Nahi Ninda Nyayam. It's to highlight something which is small, not easily perceived. You put down everything else, or put down something to show that one person is smarter. Like there are siblings, right? One sibling cries, and a sibling is kind of feeling very dejected. Then the mother says, "Oh, you are much smarter. He's not that good. You are very much smarter." So just to by seemingly the other sibling knows that, so the other sibling doesn't mind. So by seemingly putting one down, you're glorifying the other. Sometimes you can't glorify, there's nothing to glorify. So by putting somebody else, you're saying, oh, you're better. So that's the logic. Nahi ninda means censure, like blame. It is not indeed blame, nahi nindya nyayam, but it's a certain logic that's used. In Vedanta, this term is called dvandva. Dvandva means there is duality. So there's nothing that is absolutely good or absolutely bad. Everything has its own pluses and minuses. So Krishna is trying to convey that point. Every ashrama lifestyle has its plus and minus. Sannyasa has its own plus and minus. Grihastha has its own pluses and minus. You have to choose one that is suitable for you. There is no absolute way. And we also saw which it depends on the mental makeup of the person, which lifestyle you choose, grihastha or sannyasa. One lifestyle is a safer bet for a certain person. For somebody like Arjuna, grihastha is a safer bet because sannyasa is one way. Sannyasa requires a certain mental makeup. For 99.9% of the people, grihastha ashram is better. And Krishna, in the Bhagavatam, they use a very strong word. So when you give up everything, you completely give up and you take sannyasa, the world looks at you in a very special way. So you've just given up. So people fall at the feet of sannyasis. They are swamis, and you have a certain status. Now, when you enter sannyasa and you want to come, you say, okay, it's not comfortable. I'm not getting my 3-course meal plus my dessert and all that every day. I have to live with, one day I have to live with roti and dal, the other day with dal and roti, same thing. And you want to have your fine foods and all that, and you want to come back to grihastha. That person is such a lowly person, Bhagavatam says. And how does it compares that person to a shameless person? Savai vantasi apatrapahas, somebody who eats their own vomit. That's how it compares in such disgusting words, very strong criticism. So sannyasa is one way. So Krishna very clearly tells that. Then ज्ञेयस्य नित्यसन्न्यासी यो न त्वेष्टि न काङ्क्षति निर्द्वन्द्वो हि महाबाहो सुखं बन्धात् प्रमुच्यते. Pramuchyate, freed from dvandva, the duality. So know that person to be a constant sannyasi, renunciant, as one who neither hates nor craves objects of this world. O mighty armed Arjuna, Mahabaho. So he uses the term Baho, his arms, mighty armed Arjuna, because these people, they are free from opposites. They are the craving and aversion, hate and craving. They are free from opposites. And this person is effortlessly freed from bondage. This thing that binds us, we feel trapped, that person is freed. Nirtvandvohi, um, because dvandva, we just saw that it's dualities, constant conflicts in the mind, right? This person has such clarity. We also saw previously, mohan nashaha, same thing, dvandva, free from this duality. And how does it this person get free? Sukham bandhat pramuchyate, very easily. So a sannyasi is not somebody wearing saffron robes and seemingly renouncing external things, but a true sannyasi has no hate or craving, and aversion. This is a sannyasi, and this person is very happy because of that. And how does this person achieve this? Through the knowledge of the self. So the person is able to maintain a distance between what's happening in the mind and the knowledge of the real nature of I. So Krishna says the biggest problem of a grihastha lifestyle is likes and dislikes. Therefore, if one handles likes and dislikes without getting caught up, that person is as good as a sannyasi. The how to is explained in the 6th chapter. 4th shloka. Sankhya-yogau prithak balaha pravadanti na panditaha ekam apyastitas samyak ubhayor pindate phalam. Only children or those who don't know, who are just deluded, but not the wise, assert that Sankhya, here Sankhya means sannyasa and yoga, that is karma yoga, are unequal. One who's properly established in even one gains the benefit of both. Pritak means different. Sankhya, yoga, pritak balaha. Sankhya and yoga is different. Only the balaha means those who are immature understanding, like childish understanding. Only they think that sannyasa and karma yoga are different. Here Krishna is talking about the two lifestyles. The grihastha sannyasa is the renunciant, he calls it sankhya, and yoga is the karma yoga for the grihasthas. So he's talking about the two ashramas um, in this context. Sannyasa lifestyles has more time for knowledge, and it means knowledge seeking, less activity. Grihastha lifestyle has more activity, a little less time for knowledge, but still it's important. I mean, you can still get liberation from this um, position. So Krishna very clearly states both renunciant lifestyles and householder lifestyles can lead to liberation. They're equal. But he states that those who do not see the equality of these lifestyles as ignorant. And next shloka, Krishna will clearly state that those who see these two lifestyles as equal, as being wise. Okay, so with that we will stop.